Okay, welcome back. So now, what if we're dealing with an equilateral triangle? Well, an equilateral triangle, we could derive the formula for an equilateral triangle if we just know the bases by doing the exact same thing and see what we get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the altitude from, and it doesn't matter which, since it's an equilateral triangle, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to draw the altitude here. So this is going to be the height, right? And so again, this is going to be 1/2 the base, right? Okay, or just b over 2. And now I'm going to take the height, and now I've got 1/2 the base times this side, right? So I'm going to use the Pythagorean identity. So h is equal to the square root of what? It's going to be b squared minus b over 2 quantity squared. Okay? So all I did was I'm solving for h. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick in h into the formula. 1/2 base times height now becomes 1/2 base times the square root of b squared minus b divided by 2 quantity squared. Okay, so now let's simplify this. Let's see what happens here. Okay, well, what does this become? This is going to become, okay, I'm just going to put that over 2, and so what happens in the radical? So this is going to be b squared minus b squared over 4, right? Okay, good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this as a common denominator. So this is going to be b over 2 times the square root of what? Well, this becomes 4b squared minus b squared all over 4. All right. Well, now what happens? This is going to become b over 2 times the square root. Now, what happens? This becomes 3b squared over 4. Well, 4 is a perfect square and b squared is a perfect square. So I'm going to split this up into 2 pieces. This is going to be b over 2, and I'm going to write this as the square root of b squared over 4 times the square root of 3. All right, now, what happens here? This becomes b over 2, right? So what happens? The area formula becomes b over 2 times b over 2 times the square root of 3, which then just becomes what? b times b is b squared, 2 times 2 is 4, so I get what? b squared times the square root of 3, all divided by 4. And there's your formula for finding the area of an equilateral triangle. So area equals b squared times the square root of 3 over 4. Okay? And that's it. Have a great day.